pictures of the house. He walks out to his truck and he turns around to come back to the house, and there's a person standing not 20 feet away from him at the corner of the house. And he looks at the person looks at him, and the person kind of ducks down and jets around the side of the house. And my son, he's like, well, I've got a trespasser on the property. I'm gonna have to chase him off. And so he wanted to give him like the guy some time to run off the property so he didn't have to like confront him. So he went in the house to get a flashlight and came back out. So when he comes back out and he goes over to where he had seen that person standing, there was no tracks in the snow.
Oh, jeez. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Curiosities. And today we have Rebecca Williamson with the Camry House and Farm. Hey Rebecca, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing excellent. My computer's working, things are going flow, so I'm
awesome.
happy. So how has life been with you lately?
Not too bad. I ended up with a new phone today. My phone died, and so yeah, brand new phone. So woohoo!
That's always a fun trip.
I was gonna say that makes for kind of a crazy day, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for this damn snow to go away.
I know. We've had a snowstorm every Thursday for the last month. So I'm hopeful that this week will be a snowstorm Thursday. Hopefully. I'm so done.
Yeah, get rid of the ice storms and all that stuff. And
yes. Hopefully.
So we have a few questions in the tier tonight. And by the way, if you find this enjoyable and watching these interviews, please hit the like, share, and subscribe, please, and join us on when we go live sometimes. And like I said, we got 12 questions tonight, or we have 12 questions in the tier. We'll do 6, and we'll do a part 2, so that way we can get some more flow and that sort of thing, because I like having people on multiple times.
Yeah, and I have lots to talk about too, so.
yeah. It's just it's a great place. I've been there twice, I think.
Yeah, I think you've twice.
Yeah. So I just it's one of those things that the place sticks. I'll tell you that right now, the place sticks.
It's a pretty cool spot, if I do say so myself. But...
Oh yes. You got a great spot. So we'll hit you with the first question here. So
hey.
how long has the house been in the family for?
My grandparents bought the house in 1979. So basically it's been a part of my life for almost all of my life. My grandmother actually went to the farm as a child to pick apples in the 30s. So it's been a small part of our family since the 1930s. The farm was a working apple orchard from the 1850s until around the 40s. So yeah, my grandmother had gone out there as a child to pick apples, and she loved it out there. And then when the farm went up to auction in the 70s, she remembered it. She wanted to go see it, and she talked to my grandfather. He was reluctant to go out there, but once he got out there, he fell in love with it, and they bought the property. So yeah, and they bought it to preserve it. That was their main goal, was preserving the history of the home. My grandmother said that it was exactly the way she remembered it as a little girl, and there's just not many places that you can say that about, when you go back as an adult, that are exactly the same. So
yeah, I mean, you can't really beat it. I mean, just if you people can envision a house, huge property, right on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't beat that.
for
I'm
sure.
sorry, you can't. And
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
it's
special.
yeah.
Pretty special. And yeah, I bought it in 2016 after both of my grandparents had passed away. I bought it from their estate in 2016. So
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be there for a long time. All right. So, question number 2. So, when you bought the house and you got in there, got all your stuff going and whatnot, so what was your first experience that you had that you kind of realized that this house is kind of haunted?
Well, the first time I really thought it was haunted was when I spent the night there for the first time. Now, I didn't spend the night there until after I bought it
Hmm.
because my grandparents don't live very far away from the house. And when it was dark and time to go home, or if it was time to go to bed, we always went to their house to spend the night or just went home. We didn't never really spent the night out there.
Hmm.
And so anyway, after I bought it, I spent the night, and my daughter was with me, and she was trying to think. She was 7, 8 at that point, and she was like absolutely terrified. She did not want to sleep in this house for nothing. Like, we had a good time playing out there all day, and then when it came time to go to bed, she did not want to sleep in any of the bedrooms. She flat out refused to sleep in the bedrooms. And we ended up sleeping in the middle of the floor on a twin size air mattress because that was the only room she said she would sleep in. And so I'm on the twin size air mattress in the middle of the floor with an 8-year-old just like glued to my side, like terrified. And I did not sleep very well that night at all, just because, I'm like crammed up on this little air mattress, kid
Hmm.
glued to me and stuff. And my sister had come with me, and she had slept in a bed upstairs like a normal person,
Hmm.
and she had her puppy with her, and the puppy had to go outside a couple times in the middle of the night. And when they did that, they went downstairs, like literally walked about 2 feet above my head as they went out the front door and came back in. So number one, I wasn't sleeping too great, and they were literally walking right beside me, and
Right.
they woke me up. But I was trying to sleep, so I didn't really open my eyes any of the times that they went outside because I was trying to sleep. I didn't want to get the puppy too excited and wake up the kid, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So 3 times in the middle of the night, they walked right beside me, went out the door, came back in, and went back upstairs. And then the next morning, I told my sister, I said, "Your puppy did pretty good. You only went outside 3 times." She said, my puppy did great. We only went outside twice last night." And I said, "No, you didn't. You went out 3 times. I heard you." And she says, "No, we only went out twice." And we argued. We argued about this for a while, and finally came to the conclusion that she really had gone outside twice, and I really had heard one extra time to somebody coming down the stairs, going out the door, and coming back up.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was I think we might have something going on here. And then, we started thinking back to, like, things that had happened when my grandparents owned it, and they
Hmm.
never said it was haunted out there at all. But, we did have problems with doors. So, like, doors would open and close a lot.
Hmm.
So much so that the basement door, if we had a big family event out there or a whole lot of people, usually they stuck a grandkid by the door, me,
Hmm.
to make sure it stayed shut, because that door popped open all of the time. It was just like constantly being opened. And there was a trick to shutting and latching the door. I know the trick because that was my job.
Yeah.
But I mean, even shut and latched and solidly latched, it still popped open.
Well, it happened to me.
Yeah, it still happens. I still have all kinds of door stories out there at the farm. There's always something going on with those doors, opening and closing and locking.
You also have the problem up in the attic, or upstairs, I believe, the attic door.
Yeah, yeah, the attic door does the same thing. It opens and it closes, and it's done that since my grandparents bought it. That door would we'd come upstairs and it'd be open, or I'd come upstairs and it'd be closed, and when it was supposed to be open, and just, yeah, all
Yeah.
the time doors.
You ever try like putting like a magnet up there? On some of those doors, you can put a magnet and it like stay in its spot.
No, we haven't tried that, mainly because, like, when that door is latched, I mean, it's solid. You can push on it and it will not move.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one time, like, we were doing an investigation with Kelly McCarville, she was out there, and she didn't catch it on camera. Like, it was one of those ones where she had been pointed the camera at the door, and then when she turned away, you get the look on my face as I watched the handle of the doorknob turn
Mm-hmm.
and see the door open in front of my face.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I'm not sure a magnet would help with that.
Yeah. I mean, and also you have a door upstairs in that big open room you have. So
Yeah.
if you're not thinking about it and you guys are out there investigating, you said, I'm gonna open up this door. Well, you might want to second
I
think
warn
that.
I warn every team about that door, and I warn every single team, because it's a second floor door that goes to nowhere. There's nothing underneath that door.
Straight drop down.
Straight heck of a first step. So yeah, I warn every team about that door, and I make sure that if it's open, there's like a chair or something in front of there to trying to make sure nobody falls out the door.
That'd be a nice.
That door is only opened once. That door opened one time. Like, I had the people over, and they were upstairs and moving around beds, which
Mhm.
apparently made them upset, because that door opened on them and they crapped themselves and then and
See,
were
now when I
done.
was up there, I fell asleep on that bed.
Yeah.
It's like, I had one, I forgot who it was. It was, gosh, trying to think of what I had up there with me. We were investigating.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm like, God, I'm tired, but I really want to investigate yet some more. And I'm like, I'm just gonna lay on this bed and okay. And next thing you know, I'm snoring on this bed. Well, I
It's
guess that took care
comfy.
of that. Oh man. So if you guys get tired, don't lay on the beds because you'll be done for the night. So the next question we have here is how many spirits do we know that are in the house, and do you know the names who they are?
Let's see. I think there's probably around 5 spirits in the house, at least, probably more, 5 that I can pretty much name. So the most active is Eglantine. Eglantine Cambre, also known as Princess, if you can't say Eglantine. She was born in 1860. No, yeah, she died in 1864.
Wow.
On the property. She was 9 when she passed away, and she's buried on the property in an unmarked grave. She actually passed away before the home was built, but her family was living on the property at that
Okay.
point. And she obviously followed them over to the house when they moved.
Right.
So yeah, she's super, super active. We have tons of interactions with her. She's very chatty Cathy, where she loves the music box, she loves spirit box. I mean, constantly, if there's activity, more than likely it's Eglantine.
Okay. Okay. So do you know where her grave is actually laid to rest in the property, or not quite yet?
Not positive. I have some guesses, but I haven't been able to narrow it down. I actually had a family reunion for the Cambre family at the farm last summer, and they gave me a pretty good idea of where they thought it was at.
Okay.
So, and the problem is like, unless I get like ground penetrating radar out there, I'm not going to be sure for sure where it's at. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I know they got those things out there where you can call someone to come out there and go around your
yeah,
field and digs down deep to find the bodies and
yeah.
bones and stuff.
I mean, it sounds easy, just go out there and find it, but like, you've seen my property. It's
Oh,
not,
it's massive.
yeah, I was gonna say it's 30 acres of ravines, and I mean, it's not a straight flat ground anyway.
Right. Right.
So it's tricky.
Yeah.
So
But there's, like I said, it's not just the house that's haunted; it's the land that's haunted as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you got a 2-for-1 deal there, and that's, I
Right.
mean, you can host an outdoor investigation too.
Yeah.
Get
And I
some
do have
campers out there.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So the outside is like a whole different ballgame. Like inside is Cambre family. And
Hmm.
then outside, I've got like a lot of Native American activity outside. There's actually two Native American burial grounds on the property that are actually desecrated. All the items and bones, artifacts, and everything were dug out and taken in the 1820s
Wow.
and sold. So I don't allow investigations on the mound part, but the rest of the yard is super, super active with
Hmm.
shadow figures and stuff like that from Native American stuff. So
I'm gonna catch one of those shadow figures one of these days.
I mean, yeah, so far people have seen them. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody out there for the most part will see a shadow out there. I haven't caught it on tape yet. Short Bus actually caught like some SLS stuff in the trees. That was
Oh,
kind of
okay.
neat. But yeah,
Wow, that's interesting.
yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, that it leads into the next question here. So, do you believe some of the spirits in this at the Camber house and outside are residual spirits or intelligent spirits based?
I think there's a good bit of residual activity that goes on out of the farm. I know just the age of the location and stuff. There's definitely residual. A lot of footsteps. Camry is noises. You will
Hmm.
not sit in that house in absolute quiet ever. There's always a noise. There's always some movement of something going on. There's always noises. And so, yeah, a lot of that is residual. There's definitely intelligent, though. Like Eglantine is 110% an intelligent haunt.
Hmm.
Eglantine, and then her little nephew Lewis, who actually died at the age of 9 as well. Um,
Okay.
both of them are very active and responsive and intelligent. Fritz upstairs, he's intelligent. He just doesn't like to interact as well.
Well,
Um,
gotta find the
outside,
right game.
yeah, Fritz, I don't. I've actually had a couple investigators that have had good responses out of Fritz. It depends on who he likes.
Right.
Yeah, there's some that the kids don't like, and then Fritz does. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But and outside, there's definitely some intelligent stuff going on out there. I'm sure there's residual too. Most of what is outside is like protective of the land and the property and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. I remember a while ago back ago, you were saying that your son had a quite interesting story at one time.
He had a ton of interesting stories. He stayed out there for about a year and a half, and he just had constant activity out there. And yeah, oh gosh, he called me and have like all this crazy stuff that happened to him. And one of my favorites is the one I think the one you're thinking of is the one where it was snowing. It was like one of the
Yep.
first snowfalls, and there was like a fresh layer of snow. And of course, mom's like, texted them going, "Hey, can you go outside and take pictures of the house in the snow?" And so he goes outside and he's taking some pictures of the house. He walks out to his truck and he turns around to come back to the house, and there's a person standing not 20 feet away from him at the corner of the house. And he looks at the person looks at him, and the person kind of ducks down and jets around the side of the house. And my son, he's like, well, I've got a trespasser on the property. I'm gonna have to chase him off. And so he wanted to give him like the guy some time to run off the property so he didn't have to
Hmm.
like confront him. So he went in the house to get a flashlight and came back out. So when he comes back out and he goes over to where he had seen that person standing, there was no tracks in the snow.
Oh, jeez.
Fresh snow. I mean, like the whole yard covered in a fresh layer of snow with no tracks in it whatsoever. And he hadn't been standing like 20 foot away from that person, like close enough where he thought it was a real person. I mean, it was more solid than a shadow.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. I You know me, I probably just chase after
He went inside and locked the door and went to bed. After he called mom freaking out, going, Mom. Yeah, I could always tell when something had happened because he'd call me like, Mom. He'd have this little waver to his voice, Mom.
Now, have your son and your daughter stay out there alone by themselves at one point, or is
My
she?
son, my son stayed out there alone by himself for quite a while. Like I said, he was living out there for about a year and a half. So he was out there a lot by himself, which is how he got all the really good stories.
Right. Now, has your daughter joined him for a little bit, just for like a day or two, or
She'll stay out there a little bit. She will never stay out there by herself if she can help it. There's been a couple times during the day where she's been out there by herself, but she's not a fan. Not a fan of being out there by herself.
because I'd be interested to see what kind of story she's got.
Oh, I'll suggest that to her.
I mean, it because with the little girl being 9 years old and the boy
Yeah,
being nine, she could have some really good interaction with that. But she's a little fearful, and
she's
that's
standing
okay.
off camera shaking her head.
Come on, do it for the show. Do it for the show.
Do you want to go out and stay at the farm by yourself? Why would I ever want to do that? To see if there's ghosts.
Hey, they just want to have fun and play with you a little bit.
Hey, Mom.
Play some dice or something.
She's a little on the sensitive side, and we were at an investigation and she caught me using her as a ghost detector because if Amelia goes into a room by herself and gets kind of creeped out and comes right back out, then there's a good chance that there's activity in that room. So yeah, she caught me at an investigation telling her, hey, go in that room and check it out. And she's like, are you using me to find out if
You're
there's a
you're
ghost in
bait.
there?
Your child. We're gonna use you as bait. That's how we get the best results.
Poor kid.
She'll never talk to me ever again.
She's a little reluctant to go on the investigations. Now that she knows I'm using her as a piece of investigative equipment, I've probably ruined it.
You'll never get into Waverly. Oh boy, and I snorted. That's not good. Oh man. So our next question here. So with the property being on just off of Mississippi River there, do you think that has a little play into the hauntings that are go around on the land in the house?
Yeah, I really do. I think and the energy of that river and the water, the moving water, really helps the energy level. I'm also on top of a limestone bluff. Of course, the whole stone tape theory
Yeah.
comes into play there. And then there's a natural mineral spring on the property. The leach field for the mineral spring is right underneath the house. So there's
Wow.
just a ton of that type of energy there. The water running, flowing water, and the river and the limestone. You've got the
Wow.
same kind of situation going on down in Alton, Illinois, where Mineral Springs Hotel and all that
Hmm.
sort of stuff is. Mississippi River, limestone, Mineral Springs, and it really provides energy for the activity. Is my personal theory on it. Is just it provides energy for activity.
Right, right. And you also got a couple cabins on the lake there as well. Do you think those
I
have been affected?
Um, the cabin, maybe.
Okay.
I haven't done a lot of investigating down at the cabin. I haven't had a lot of people say that there's activity down there. A little bit. Honestly, though, like when I was doing the research, the one ghost story I found in research was from the cabin down below.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that one, riverboat captain bought that piece of the property as his retirement home.
Okay.
And he was known to sit on his front porch and watch the riverboats go by after he retired. And then when he passed away, there were people that said they saw him still sitting there on the porch. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
That's interesting. I have to check that out next time. Do they kind of let you go farther down to sit there and observe, or not really?
Yeah. Yeah. You can. And like I said, it's a different building there. The original building is gone.
Hmm.
So it is a different building, but yeah, like I said, that's the story. And that one was from like the 30s or 40s ghost story. So
Yeah. Now, I'm going to add a bonus question here that's not really
okay.
on the list, but so you've had quite a few events out there.
Mhm.
And before we get into the events and stuff, do you allow like Ouija board sessions or seances out there on your land?
Yes and no.
What are the
um
results have been if you had some?
Yeah, I've had some seances. Usually I prefer to at least know the team and stuff that's doing that type of stuff. Just because most people that I know that are doing seances and doing Ouija boards aren't
Hmm.
trying to call in demons.
The big bad D word.
Yeah, I mean most of the people that we know and we're friends with don't do that. Um, I'm very protective of my property and the energy of my property. I do not want that to change.
Right.
So I don't like people to do things that would change the energy of my property when they're out there investigating. So
Yeah, I wouldn't want that either. I mean,
yeah.
it's a
So
good
that's
flow. It's not malevolent. It's friendly. It's
right.
you know
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I really don't want to change that. So that the Ouija board, the seance thing, typically my answer for teams I don't know is no.
hmm.
Um, and then like I've had people try to bring in haunted objects, and again, that one is a no because again, I don't want to change my energy out there. I don't want stuff brought in that could be malevolent or harmful. So
Right. Right.
I don't
And
have any of that out there right now. Camry is pretty much a happy energy, and honestly, like the Native American protective spirits kind of I feel protect the property from that sort of thing. But
that's a
again,
comforting feeling too.
yeah, I don't want to change that. So
Right. I mean, just think of, for those of you who venture out that way, just remember you're out in the woods. So if you plan on bringing
yes,
something and think that you're going to leave it there, just think about everybody else that's going to come out there and say, "Oh crap, I'm out in the middle of the woods and there's a river next door.
yeah.
I have nowhere to go." This is like could be straight up in a horror movie, you know?
There's people that the drive out there freaks them out before they even get to the house.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very special spot in my heart and for everything else. And it's pretty much where a lot of things have kind of begun my journey and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, like it was special to me as a kid growing up and stuff, and that's why I bought it because I wanted to keep my special spot, and then by opening it up and doing what I do now, then I get to share my special spot and become special to other people too, and I really like that.
yeah. So let's see. What uh what kind of events do you like to have out there? I mean, do you do just events partial of the year round? What's your favorite
Um,
event?
so my event season goes from May through October. The roads out there in the winter are just not conductive to having people out there.
Yeah,
um, it kind of depends on the year. Like some years, like December out here, there won't be snow on the ground and it won't be too bad. But I don't like to count on. I don't like to count on that.
yeah.
So and so yeah, May through October. I always start with Memorial Day weekend. I have a big craft show on the Monday of Memorial Day weekend, and that's kind of the start of my event season. And that's just a craft show. House is open to the public, free to tour and wander around. Um, then we go into June. June, I do the summer solstice paranormal fair,
Yep.
and that is Darren's been there. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
And that's just a great big like paranormal conference where a bunch of teams and locations and stuff, we all get together, have like a vendor booth and speaking, and then that night we all investigate. So, and that ends up,
It's a great time.
yeah, a lot of fun, a whole bunch of teams out investigating out there out in the yard in the house and stuff. So it's a good time. Good time.
So for those of you watching this interview, get there. Get there now.
Yeah, that is June 18th this year. And then I also do painting classes. So
That's something new I haven't heard of.
yeah, it kind of ends up getting slid to the side. But yeah, I teach painting classes out there. We usually do like a Monet and a Van Gogh, and I walk you step by step through doing that. And so that is July and August. And then when is this going to air, Darren?
This Friday.
This Friday?
Yep. Deep thoughts here.
Deep thoughts. I've got an event coming up. I don't know if I can tell you about that one yet.
Okay. We can save it for the next one.
I'll save that for the next one. So let's see. I'm doing a retreat with Holly in Dallas on July 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that
Very
one's
nice.
that's an intuitive retreat weekend. That'll be my first one. I'm pretty excited about that one. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about those that could be very interesting.
Yeah, it should be fun. We're just gonna kind of like get together, relax, and work on like some meditation and exploring our gifts a little bit. And then let's see. October is the ghost month. In October, we'll do paranormal tours, and I usually do a big Halloween event. This year, I've moved the Halloween, quote unquote, Halloween event to October 15th.
Okay.
And I think if it works out the way it's supposed to, which, when you planned everything in 2020, now I'm like all like, I think this is how it's going to work, but it makes me like a little on the nervous side. But I'm supposed to have some paranormal comedians out there. And then we're going to do some investigation and stuff and ghost tours and things. So October is usually a super busy month for me with ghost tours and stuff, but it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Definitely have to see. My wife hasn't been out there yet, so I'm kind of convince her to come out there, and because I think
wineries. I have 4 wineries within a 30-minute drive, so it's usually how I get people out here. If they're not into the ghosts, then usually the wineries will be the ticket.
Yeah, I think just getting her out in the cabin on the river there, I think she'd really enjoy it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll ease her on into the house and say, see what you can find.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I think that's usually, sit on the river and relax, and then, maybe you can sneak her up to the house a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So where can people get a hold of you to set up the events and your investigations that you host?
I am Cambre House pretty much everywhere you go. It's cambrehouse.com or Cambre House on Instagram, Cambre House on Facebook, Cambre House on TikTok. At this point, if you type Cambre into a search engine, I should come up. So that's hopefully.
Yep. And I'll pin this stuff all down in the description down below, so that way you guys can go straight to the website.
Right.
And don't mind my tears. It's my eyes like the water.
You're all right. You're so worked up about the Camry.
So if you guys are interested, it's a great place to be at. Go down there, chat with Rebecca, chat with her son, and get all the stories and all that stuff. And like I said, I'll leave it down in the links below.
Happy to have everybody out there. So, yay.
Yeah. So that is Rebecca Williamson and the Cambre House. And I thank you for being on today's episode of Curiosities.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Darren. It's always fun to chat with you.
And everybody stay tuned because we are going to have a part 2 of
Yeah.
Rebecca Williamson. I could never say that right. With the Cambre House. And with that, we'll also have a special guest co-host with us that night, hopefully. So stay tuned and remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next interview. Good night, everybody. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe and tap that bell for more notifications. See you on the next video.